Rob's Roundtable. I'm pretty good at that.
Saw it coming this time.
Welcome.
Mike Story, sportsbettingintel.com, joining us again. He's got his nice, awesome 8th grade hair.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
At least you're not bald.
No.
And you're not bald either.
I got
None
a
of us are
haircut
bald.
specifically for this podcast.
We got decent. I love that. Nick O, the man, the myth, the legend. We love him here. I am just known as Rob, the fat host.
Nobody calls you that.
I do.
Well, we don't.
They
don't.
do. Whoever's watching.
I think the audience should give you props, Rob. You got some big event going on at your work this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Here you are.
I'm rocking
podcast.
48 hours in 4 days, waking up at 4 a.m. every day. We're doing this night. I'm drinking. This is the 3rd or 4th, whatever. You know what? Fuck it. I like the pod. I like you guys. I like talking football. We're going to get into it.
Giver.
Running back ranks disputes. We're going to go through our ranks, early ranks. These are subject to change. But early on, where we draft these guys, where we have them ranked, and I'm going to find the discrepancies we have within our three. We're going to defend ourselves. So, couple things for you. Per use, a quick stat, running back stat. Let's start with some football shit here. There used to be about 10 or 12 running backs drafted in the first round. Remember that? We're all old enough and played long enough to remember where it was like 10 to 11 running backs drafted in the first round. Because you had to have it, right?
Like it, love it, and gotta have it.
If you didn't have it, it was almost like a super flex league now with quarterbacks where it's like, oh, I can't fall behind.
Nope.
Now it's like, this year it's like 4. Right? That's crazy low.
There's so many question marks on running back this year. It's unbelievable. My first tier is huge, and I'm like, should it really be? Like, should it just be 2? Like, should it be 8? Like, I'm all over the place with running back. It's hard to sort out, and everyone's 1A, 1B, right?
Yeah.
I think it's cyclical. I think you saw wide receiver. You saw a lot of running backs falter last year, and you saw wide receivers be pretty consistent. And so I think the market adjust. There's a lot of talking heads who talk it up, all the wide receivers. And you go back to my buddy Matt, who's been playing fantasy since the early '90s, and he'll tell you, the first 12 are right off the board running backs. Mm-hmm. Then the next 4 are running backs, and then the next 4 are running back. Right? It's just running back. If you didn't have a running back, you weren't winning the league. I think it comes and goes in waves, and if wide receivers become less consistent this year, I think you'll see running backs get pushed up next year.
So, stat to defend the new age draft strategy is from 2008 to 2011, there were 11 running backs that logged 250 carries or more. From 2018 to now, there were 6 per season. So that's half as many that are workhorses, right? Your Derrick Henrys of the world. So that's the trend we're going on. Now, I don't think it's ever going back to 11.
Probably.
Teams don't run the ball as much.
Yeah.
Guys aren't durable. Like, you go down the list, right?
It's a passing league now, as well as the scoring transition from standard to PPR, I think, has had to change your focus.
And running backs are just very unstable assets. That's the difference, right? They get injured more. There's more timeshares. And then, before we get to the ranks, I have another thing for you per use. Pee Wee Herman died. You hear about that?
I heard.
What do you think about him?
I didn't know he was battling cancer. That was very surprising.
I didn't know he was 70.
He's 70.
He was 70.
Was he really that old? Wow.
Let's just talk about the elephant in the room that I'm creating. Was his personal life, which is a little checkered.
Yeah.
We all know about the public jerking off in a movie theater. But
yeah, he was,
I didn't hear about the Michael Jackson level pornography he had of child porn that he got off on, like 70,000 articles. And he said it's because he was into the art, which is what those kind of people say, the art form of children naked. I'm just saying.
Jared from Subway was into the art too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? And not to
kill all pedophiles.
And hey, next, I have a Subway thing coming for you next episode, just so you know, which diverts that. But not to shit on the guy's grave, but I tend to do that. I mean, Ryan Mallett didn't shit on his grave. I kind of pissed by his grave.
Too soon.
This one, I mean, sorry, Pee Wee, but hey, you know what? You entertain kids. You were super weird. Congratulations on your career and your life. And
who didn't watch that show as a kid? I watched that show.
This is not very genuine.
Should we have a word of the day for the podcast in honor of
pedophile?
But I mean, in all honesty, he was the second most famous man to ever shoot another man in the back of the head in a theater.
Goodness me.
Yeah! Him and John Wilkes Booth, baby.
Somewhat trepidatious in that.
I love it. You didn't plan that. Obviously, you couldn't plan it because I gave you those things. Good for you, son. Running back ranks disputes. Let's get into it. I'm going to read my RB1s here.
Please do, because I'm still reeling from that jerking off / shooting Lincoln joke.
I just said shot a man in the back of the head. It was implied. I didn't lay it
Did
all
he
out
come?
there.
Do we know if he came?
I don't know.
Hopefully he did at least. You're going to get arrested at least finish. Okay, my top 12. This is full PPR, mind you. Let's preface that. Full PPR rankings. I have Nick Chubb at number 1, Christian McCaffrey at 2, Austin Eckler at 3, Tony Pollard at 4, Jonathan Taylor at 5, Saquon at 6, Derrick Henry, King Henry at 7, Bijan at 8, Josh Jacobs at 9, Stevenson at 10, Joe Mixon at 11, and Travis Etienne at 12. What do you got, Nick?
All right. Starting off, Christian McCaffrey, number 1. Eckler at 2. I got Barkley at 3. Chubbs at 4. I got JT at 5. Jacobs at 6. Henry at 7. Pollard at 8. Bijan rounding out the top 10. Stevenson at 11. And Mixon at 12.
All right, so 1 to 12. Austin Eckler, number 1. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. Derrick Henry, number 3. Chubb, 4. Saquon Barkley, 5. Tony Pollard, 6. Bijan Robinson, 7, and it kills me that he's that high, but there he is. 8, Josh Jacobs. 9, JT, Jonathan Taylor. 10, Ramondre Stevenson. 11, Joe Mixon. Jinx on that, Rob. 12, Alexander Madison.
Boo.
Wow, we're going to get into that.
Man.
Real quick, that's crazy with Eckler at 1. You know, I have Eckler at 3, though. I'm coming around a bit just because of safety, but that's insane. What's crazier, him having Eckler at 1 or me having Chubb at 1?
Unfortunately, in full PPR, I think it's you having Chubb at 1, and part of that stems from a little bit of my belief in Ford to fill some of the Hunt role. But Chubb is the best running back in the NFL right now. The dude's a phenomenal athlete. You expect his workload to increase. The amount of points he puts up, standard or PPR, like he's gonna be up there no matter what. I had a hard time putting him down at 4, but it's the lack of catches and if Ford steps into a role I think he's capable of. That was the only reason I had Chubb down at 4.
You guys both have him at 4. ECR, in full PPR, which is Fantasy Pros expert consensus ranking, has him at 7. So we're all way higher on Nick Chubb. I am at 1, and I'll tell you why. If I were to tell you right now Nick Chubb has 50 catches this year, where would you rank him?
If he has 50 catches?
50, yeah.
Shit.
He'd be number 1, right?
Probably.
No, not 1.
But it's Nick Chubb.
I mean,
what would Derrick Henry have been all those years with 50 catches?
I still don't think it gets to 1 over Eckler. 2 probably for Chubb. Yeah.
Okay. But Austin
There's still
Eckler
no
has
competition.
more injury concerns.
Well, yes, obviously.
We're factoring that in our ranks, are we not?
What, I thought we were in the trust tree in the nest, are we not?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
How safe you feel with it.
Let's get to the next guy here, Tony Pollard. I have at 4. Story has him at 6. Nick O has him at 8. Kind of balanced here. Expert consensus has him at 5. So, I'm the highest. You're the lowest. Why are you the lowest?
I think he's going to get plenty of work. Again, it's the nobody else is there theory. I don't necessarily want to buy into that narrative. It's more the receivers that are there that they're not going to have to throw to Pollard, and I think his catches are down from what we would necessarily expect when he gets all of the work. I think you've got 3 or 4 good receivers there, no tight ends and no other running backs, but my logic on that is he's more of a pure runner this year and catches less passes. And I think those quick, short passes are going to whether it's Gallup, Cooks, CD. You've got some guys there that I think can take those short routes off of Pollard and get at least some positive yards out of Dak instead of just a screen.
Story?
Well, Zeke played, 14 games last year, and Pollard was still the 10th or 11th running back?
7th.
7th at PPR? Goodness. Me. I must have been looking at standard.
7th, man. That's crazy.
So take that for what it's worth. But if he did exactly what he did last year, then yeah, he's sitting at 7 in the rankings. I know there's other guys moving up and down, whatever. But bare minimum, he's at 10. And now you take Zeke out of the picture. He bulked up this year a little bit, which means he's probably the goal line guy. He's taken what Zeke took last year. Unless they bring somebody else in, there's nobody in that backfield that I think they trust to run the goal line, run the offense through. And if he just maintains the same catches that he had last year, then that screams him up the board. And it kills me to do it because I hate the Cowboys. But
you do.
And Mike McCarthy calling the plays, right?
Yeah.
And it's not being predictable, right? On the 4-yard line, you put in the pseudo goal line back. You're taking the playmaker off the field. Tony Pollard's seen those touches. So that's why I have him at 4. Last guy here that actually you read in your rankings, that's why I'm going to bring it up, Alexander Madison. You have it 12. I have it 17. Nick O has him down to 30.
30? I'll let you go first.
So you go first. We've been on the
what do
Ty
you have there,
Chandler
Rob?
train. I have him at 17.
17, okay.
ECR has him
24.
24. So you're very high on him. We're actually closer. He's the closest somehow. What do you got?
I don't think that offense runs through Madison. I don't think he's a special player. I like Ty Chandler a lot, and I think as he gets more opportunity, he's going to be the one to become the 1A in that offense. One of my hot takes was Chandler outscores Madison in fantasy football points this year. I think Madison's just a guy. We haven't seen him get utilized a lot, and he's had opportunity. With Cook obviously being injured and whatever else, I haven't seen him run away with it yet. I haven't seen him just blow me away watching the film.
Right.
And I got trust issues with him.
The one thing I'll say about when he has had the starting gig, he's destroyed. He's got all the work, crazy amount of work, but he's faced the most cupcake thing ever. It was David Montgomery the year he just exploded, facing like 2 Lions games, a Cardinals, and you know what I mean? So like that is why his numbers are inflated in terms of his production when he played, but you can't argue the touches. That's why I have him firmly where he's at, right around ECR. Story, you're at 12.
A lot of it comes down to the offensive line has been improved every year over the last 3 years, and this year in particular, they've made a lot of good moves. And Madison has shown it, similar to what you said, Rob. Every time he's gotten the rock, every time he's gotten the lead ball carrier role, he's run with it, and he's put up RB1 numbers every single time. I don't believe in Ty Chandler. I went back and watched the film after. I've been watching your guys' podcast, and I know where you're at with this, but I've watched Ty Chandler. I watched him when he was originally at Tennessee. I don't believe he's got injury concerns of his own. Dalvin Cook had injury concerns. Alexander Madison hasn't shown that. He's shown to be a durable back. He's not as explosive as Dalvin Cook. I'll be the first to admit that. He doesn't have the home run ability. But when you don't have anybody else in the backfield that can take those goal line touches, you give everything from an improved offense. If he takes, I don't know, what did Dalvin Cook have? 55 catches last year? If he takes 30 catches from Dalvin Cook and he keeps what he had last year, he's looking at a 60-catch season. It screams RB1 to me.
Here's where we're going to be wrong if it happens, is Najee Harris, right? His rookie year with Ben Roethlisberger. That is the upside of Madison, is inefficient, but million touches, catches, and a above-average offense. We're a way off. You're definitely way off. I'm still off on my 17 ranking. But where you're going to be wrong is if Ty Chandler is a 50-50 split and a more dynamic player, and he is just the boring running back in a timeshare. In a passing offense.
Yeah, I hate
nothing
more than nebulous backfields.
Yes.
And this has the potential to be that.
It does.
But I'm putting my chips in. If you want to get him, you can get him in the 4th round right now. But at 12, yeah, I'm taking over a bunch of guys that
clearly.
people have probably ranked higher.
All right.
Madison feels like this year's Chase Edmonds.
That's what you said. That's a little blasphemous.
But that's what it feels like. To
Yeah,
me.
I know. You said it.
He's going to get volume. He's going to get this. It's going to be Chase, and people overdrafted the shit out of him last year.
All right, my RB2s are 13 to 24. Najee Harris, Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins, Miles Sanders at 16, Madison at 17, Jahmyr Gibbs at 18, Cam Akers 19, Aaron Jones 20, Javonte Williams 21, Rachaad White 22, Dameon Pierce, and Antonio Gibson rounding it out.
We'll go Dobbins 13, Breece Hall 14, ETN 15. I got Harris at 16, Walker at 17, Sanders at 18. I got Javonte Williams at 19. I got DeAndre Swift at 20. I got Kamara at 21. I got Akers at 22. I got Jahmyr Gibbs at 23 and James Conner at 24.
Okay, so starting with 13, Breece Hall, and then 14, Najee Harris, 15, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins at 16, Dameon Pierce at 17, 18 is James Conner, 19 is Jahmyr Gibbs, 20 is Travis Etienne, 21 is Kenneth Walker III, 22 Cam Akers, 23 Rachaad White, and then 24 Miles Sanders.
All right, first one to discuss here, the one you were kind of confused on, is Aaron Jones. You had at 12.
Okay.
Highest of the bunch, you had 12. Story, you're at 15. I am at 20. This is full PPR. It might seem crazy. I'm a big A.J. Dillon guy. A lot of tread on the tires. I don't think 20 is even that low for Aaron Jones with this offense. They don't score as much, and if it's a 50-50.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I don't trust this offense a ton, but I feel like Aaron Jones is the more reliable back. They're going to be playing from down. I like both of their pass catching. Dillon's a big dude, and people don't always think he can catch, but he can, and he may take some of that work away. I see it as using Aaron Jones up before you're letting him out the building.
Okay.
Kind of logic.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I thought it was going to be high in Aaron Jones, but you look at the expert consensus rankings, Got him at 15 in PPR, and a lot of that probably comes down to pass catching, although, as you mentioned, Dillon's a fairly decent pass catcher. But Aaron Jones has shown a propensity that he can get in the end zone when given the ball inside the 5-yard line. They tend to vacillate between him and Dillon. You're really not sure who's going to be the goal line back. So he's got touchdown upside. He's got pass catching upside. And I think they want to rely on the run a little bit to kind of ease Love into this season as a full-time starter.
Next one, I cannot believe what I'm reading here. Jahmyr Gibbs. I have an 18. I am highest on Jahmyr Gibbs. I am on record on this pod telling you on TikTok and all these things, if you draft Jahmyr Gibbs, you will get herpes.
Yeah.
Because you go and look at the TikTok
Get an STD.
or the short. I have an 18. Story 19. Nick O 24. This is full PPR. Expert consensus ranking is 16. So we're all lower. I am the highest, and I just, in PPR, give me the guy that has 65 catches with explosive playmaking, 0 goal line. I think he has some type of STI. But, yeah.
Who doesn't?
He does. What do you guys think about him? You're lowest, so.
I'm looking at Gibbs in the light of, I don't know that offense is going to want to throw to running backs. They're trying to score by throwing to running backs. If you look at what Williams did last year, I think Montgomery fills that role. There's going to be more touchdowns for the pure runner. They are a little light at receiver, given some suspensions early on, and some of the guys that have gotten cut. I have a hard time trusting rookie running backs without knowing what they're capable of in the NFL. Gibbs is incredibly explosive, though. So I'm not going to argue against someone who wants to take that shot earlier. I'm just not going to take that risk.
Yeah, the downside to what the hell's his name? Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know.
Herpes. His name's Herpes.
The downside to Jahmyr Gibbs is the lack of touchdown equity, because even Alabama would take him off the goal line, bring other big backs in. So he probably doesn't get the goal line work, at least to start. David Montgomery's had some issues staying healthy, so if that's the case, there's really nobody behind those two guys to kind of take that. But it's really about when Detroit does throw the running backs, they've shown that they have no problem turning that into a focus of that particular drive or that play or whatever it is. And Jahmyr Gibbs, being as explosive as he is, he can take screen passes, wheel routes, dump offs, and turn it into big gains. And in a PPR league, I think he's got 80 catches behind him, which
But
brings
you
him
have
to-
him so low, though. So, I mean, lower than ECR.
Lower than ACR. I'm still lower because of David Montgomery being there, because
Right.
of the lack of potential touchdowns. But yeah, I'm 3 spots lower than ECR, but I'm a little higher.
Oh, 80 catches is insane. What's the college he went to before? Was it Georgia Tech or some shit?
I don't know. I'll look that
Because
up.
wherever it was, he also did not get the goal line touches at a lesser school, which is concerning because
Yeah.
if you're not getting him at a lesser school, Alabama's one thing. They have a bunch of guys, a bunch of
Exactly.
horses.
Yeah,
You ain't-
Georgia Tech.
Whoa! I'm a college guy. I'm a college boy. I'm singing to you. I'm out of my mind. But that's a concern. And if he didn't get it there, he didn't get it there. He's not getting it here,
Not in the
which is a
NFL.
fact. Even if there's an injury to Montgomery.
Detroit, they shed DeAndre Swift to draft
That's because
Jahmyr Gibbs.
That's because Swift fucked Dan Campbell's wife, dude. That's fucking clear as shit. And he's like, is he bigger than me?
big-
Brian tried to have sex with me.
Was he bigger than me?
baked in my rank.
He's definitely bigger than Dan Campbell. Well, Dan Campbell's a big guy. He's white, though. And holy shit. All right, next grouping here. Actually, not next grouping. One more guy. Travis Etienne. He had... Story, you have him at 20. I am highest. I have him at 12. Nico, 15. His consensus is 14. So you're right on brand there. I am higher. You are lower. I am higher just because either he's getting the same workload he had last year or he's getting more passing down work, which in PPR I like because he was sold to us as an extreme playmaker, LaShawn McCoy with almost better routes. Has the thing with Trevor Lawrence from college at Clemson. That's what we were sold, and we didn't get that last year. We got Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
Junior,
Junior.
he's
Derrick
tiny.
Henry light.
Very light.
Derrick Henry,
And
one
I
leg.
I see very safe with upside of 3-down roll, explosive playmaking. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, but safe doesn't mean top 16 to me. Safe means somebody that you can rely on to get you those RB2 numbers, and so he's a solid
But
RB2.
he's not David Montgomery because safe is David. He's a playmaker, right?
I do think
Like,
his
that's the
offense is
difference.
going to be better this year, which means more offense, better scoring opportunities, better for running backs in general. But Doug Peterson has used a committee at running back wherever he's been. We saw that no other place than Philadelphia, more so. And I don't believe that the workload's going to change. Travis Etienne was a pass catcher in college. He spent 2 years, a year and 1 game, not being a pass catcher with Jacksonville. And if they're not going to give him the passes, they're going to give him targets, it just doesn't, there's no opportunity, I think, for him to jump into that top 16, 18 for me.
All right, we're going to read our RB3s here. Subject to change. We'll get into Kamara news also. RB3s are Kenneth Walker at 25, Montgomery at 26, Pacheco at 27, James Conner at 28, A.J. Dillon at 29, Rashad Penny at 30, James Cook 31, DeAndre Swift 32, Kamara 33, and Zach Charbonnet at 34.
We've got...
Don't worry, I'll
James-
just edit it all out. I
James-
have to watch the whole video anyway and put 4
Yep.
hours in.
Yep.
For 40 views, by the way, you fuckers.
James Cook.
That's going to get 41.
Yep. Calling them fuckers is
No,
definitely going to get more. James Cook at 25, Antonio Gibson 26, Rashad Penny 27, Rashad White at 28, Alexander Madison at 29. You said 30, so maybe my numbers are still off. Montgomery, and then I go Pacheco, Damian Pierce, Khalil Herbert, A.J. Dillon, Damian Harris, and Jamal Williams.
25, David Montgomery. 26, Alvin Kamara with an asterisk. 27, Isaiah Pacheco. 28, Javonte Williams. 29, Rashad Penny. Number 30, James Cook. A.J. Dillon at 31. Antonio Gibson at 32. 33 is DeAndre Swift. Samaje Perine at 34. Jamal Williams. And then rounding it out with Khalil Herbert.
Okay, let's get into Alvin Kamara real quick. News just broke. He is 3-game suspension, which is way less than we thought. We were thinking 4 to 8, honestly. And we right now had them Nico 21, Story 26, me 33. Let's rework it on the fly here. I am putting him at 17, where Madison was at. I'm going to put him right behind Madison, just because of suspension. In PPR, it's where I have him. You guys are probably going to go even higher than that based on where you had him. Give me what you got, whoever's ready.
Yeah, I would jump him up. I'm just looking at this list real quick. I would probably jump him up to 17 from 26.
Ooh.
So 3 games is nothing, right? Every
Right.
running back's going
It's
to miss 3 games well, not every, but they're generally going to miss 3 games. So yeah, I put him ahead of all these guys: Damian Pierce, James Conner, Gibbs, Etienne, Walker, Akers, Rashad White. I do love Rashad White this year though. Miles Sanders, Dave Montgomery. I put him ahead of there. I think that we did see his efficiency go down last year, but I think this Saints offense is going to be better this year. I think, yeah, that's where I'd stick him at 17 with only 3 games.
Jamal Williams may vulture some touchdowns down there. You don't know exactly how explosive a Dennis Allen-led team can be. I know Carr wants to sling it. He's got some weapons there. But Kamara is incredibly explosive. I've seen no loss of speed or explosion from him. He's a dynamic athlete. I'm probably moving him up to around my 14 range is what I'm thinking. Right there with J.K. Dobbins for me. Guys that I'm big on, that I'd be happy to put those two together, actually, to stack those two. Again, 3 games, I can work around that.
I like it. Okay, next guy, Damian Pierce. Story, you have at 17. Your highest, I have 23. You have 33. 33. You are off Damian Pierce. Let's start with the guy that's lowest. What do you got?
Damian Pierce surprised me last year, right? I didn't expect it. I went back, looked at his numbers. It's more than I anticipated on a terrible Houston Texans team. I know they've gotten better. They brought Singletary in, who I've never been enamored with, but it's more than what they had behind Pierce last year. And I think Singletary is going to challenge for touches.
That was Rex Burkhead.
As well as,
Sexy Rexy.
as well as Stroud is, in my opinion, the most pass-ready rookie coming out this year. And I don't think they're going to need to lean on the run as much as to do the short pass game with him and Singletary stealing some touches.
So my thing is, rookie quarterbacks are generally bad for rookie wide receivers, not so much for running backs. So to that end, my biggest regret last year was not drafting Damian Pierce. I thought he's a rookie. They even though they showcased him in the preseason and then said, that's it, we want to put you on a shelf, we're not touching you, we want you healthy. Knowing what I know now, even with him getting hurt last year, I would have drafted him everywhere. They gave him the workload. And I know Lovie Smith is gone. It's a new regime there. But Damian Pierce showed that he could do it under the right circumstances. This offense will be better. This isn't if this offense could be better. This offense will be better. They are taking a step forward. To me, I want a piece of that. And you either get him or Nico Collins. Given the choices, I'll go with Damian Pierce.
Okay. James Conner. Story has him at 18. He's highest. I am lowest at 28. Nico right in the middle at 25. His ECR is 21. So we are lower on him. You were higher on him. What do you think about James Conner? Why do you love him?
Look at what he did last year. And the biggest change that we had from last year to this year is, to a certain extent, Kyler Murray's not going to be there. And that means the offense is not going to be as good, obviously. But James Conner is the guy in the backfield there. He catches passes. He is the goal line back. I can't remember how many games in a row he scored with a touchdown after Kyler Murray had gone away. So they didn't add anybody. They didn't sign anybody big. Assuming that they don't in preseason, then there is nobody to compete for touches for James Conner. And it's not like a Najee Harris situation where he gets every carry, but he's not a very good pass catcher. James Conner is a good pass catcher, and we saw it last year. His role didn't change. Even though the offense won't be as good, there's enough there for me to be in on James Conner.
The offense can be awful. It's not going to be not as good. I mean, not as good as, like, not even close to a statement. It's going to be fucking horse shit.
Yes, but they were bad all of December after Kyler Murray was gone.
Yeah, I know. He's also older and not very good. Nico?
You had Hopkins for some of those games.
You're
too,
lowest, so what do you got?
To take a little
Actually,
bit
I'm
away from.
lowest.
Yeah, you're lowest. Connor, to me, feels safe because of the volume. You know he's going to miss 3 or 4 games. If he were to stay healthy the whole year, his numbers would be higher than what we've seen. And on bad offenses with bad quarterbacks, he somehow continues to produce. Like, I don't like it. I don't understand it. But I feel safe in a gross way with James Conner. It's like, I don't know.
Speaking of gross way, I have a little analogy for you.
Uh-oh. I had one, but I left it alone because it was too far
You had
out
one?
there. I did. I stopped
We got to
it.
clean it up, but this was good. Would you rather have bad sex 3 times a day, okay, with your spouse, or have the spouse give you good sex 3 times a week?
Nah, 3 times a week, man. I got time for 3 times a day. I'm
But
too
if
busy.
you were a nympho, if you were a nympho like we are fantasy football addicts, and you fucking need sex, right? You want to have it 3 times a day. Do you want bad sex 3 times a day, or 3 times a week? Amazing. Blow your hair back, whatever hair you have left. You can't blow his hair back because it's gel, but
It's there.
what do you want?
We could blow it.
What do you
We could
want?
blow-
I
my
want
hair-
the
I
good
want my
sex
hair
3
blown
times
back.
a
Yep.
fucking week, man.
Yeah.
I do, but for my third running back, potentially, like, even if I
Your
went
third wife, you want-
receiver heavy.
You want so from your third wife.
I
you
want the old
3
trusty
3
wife.
But how are you gonna have sex 3 times a day from your third wife? Your dick's gonna fall off.
I'm with Nick. I just don't have the time these days, right? You know,
So you don't have the time for fucking goddamn
when
James
I
Conner.
was in my 20s, you can go to the bank, go to the dry cleaner, get your car washed, and you got time for everything else. Now one of those is going to put me on the couch for the rest of the day.
He's got a point.
You're getting older, boys.
All right, last one. I'm just saying I don't like James Conner. He's not a good player on a terrible offense. I know he has the role, but I don't know how long when they're 1-8, he's getting trotted out there because he gives them a better chance to win. And he's terrible. But the guy behind him is Eno Benjamin. I don't know who the fuck it is. Hopefully they bring back Chase Edmonds. It's bad. And they're bad.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with it, man. Everyone, these experts are talking about, oh, I want James Conner over like these great players. I'm like, dude, don't listen to these motherfuckers.
My recommendation as a whole is draft no Cardinals this year. That's
There
my
you go.
recommendation as a whole.
Marquise Brown's the only one I want, just so you know. Last one
Get to
here.
that, no.
Last one, Javonte Williams. Positive ass news coming out of camp. They said he will play in the preseason, which is crazy. I don't know why they do that, but it's positive in terms of his health. Nico has him at 19. I have him at 21. Story 28. Javonte Williams is 26 ECR right now. Now, this probably is going to be updated with the news to 23. Let's keep our ranks the same. Let's keep ECR the same. Nico, why do you love Javonte Williams?
I think we saw it last year with him. I think he's a fantastic runner. The guy's dynamic. He's a great athlete. Sean Payton is going to have to utilize the weapons that he has there. I like P. Ryan. I know where Story's going to go with the Samaje Love, and I see a world where it's 1A, 1B, easing into it. And Gordon did take touches away, and P. Ryan at this point is better than what Gordon was last year. I'll give you that, but it's one of those where I think Williams is an above average athlete at the position, and the running game is going to go through him.
Yeah, I disagree. I think we saw it last year with Javonte Williams. I think we struggled to get fantasy points out of him for the first 4 weeks that he was healthy, whatever it is. So they signed Samaje Perine for a reason. Sean Payton has always used a committee at running back. And when you've got a 1A with a 1B that's right there, coming off of an injury, so I'll believe it when I see it playing in the preseason. That I don't believe for a second. I don't care what coach
Hope
is
he
saying.
doesn't.
Well, I don't think there's any way that he's healthy. We saw what happened with J.K. Dobbins last year. So they rush him back. He gets hurt. That's baked into the risk. I'm not in on Javonte Williams again. I got bullied into taking him last year. I will not take him again this year. And I don't
want
want a committee running back that's coming off an injury in a not so great team with a decrepit Russell Wilson.
So you much rather have James Conner?
I would take James Conner well above him.
So I have James Conner 28 and Javonte at 21. You have James Conner 25 and 19 for Javonte.
I'm higher on
So like it's
Javonte.
not even close for me.
Yeah.
Like I played a win story. So like if you want to play for like to make the playoffs, take James Conner because you'll probably eke your way into the playoffs. And by the time the playoffs start, he won't be on your team. I will take Javonte Williams and I'll still get the first seed because I'm good. And I'll have Javonte Williams. How about that?
You're going to struggle there in those first 5
I don't
weeks.
give a
While you're like,
fuck.
I'm trotting Javonte Williams out here because
I won't trot him out there.
My
I'll
upside
grab
is in my
Damian
RB
Harris.
1, my wide receiver 1, my wide receiver 2, right? Then you can play the game there a little bit, and now I know I've got guaranteed production out of my 2 that's going to help carry me through those down
I'd
weeks.
rather draft another wide receiver and not have James Conner. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me fucking Antonio Gibson, dude.
Yeah, but I can draft 3 wide receivers
Antonio Gibson or James Conner.
and a running back and still
In
get
PPR?
James
Yes.
Conner. You
Probably,
can get 3
but-
wide receivers and a running back and still get James
Nick
Conner.
O, you have Gibson at 27, and you have James Conner at 25.
Mhm.
I have 28 for James Conner, and I have 24 for Gibson. Give me Gibson over James Conner all fucking day long in PPR.
You're going to bet against a guy who got shot in the butt and then came back.
Well, he made
No,
a
I don't
John
think- I
Wilkes
don't-
Booth joke about Pee Wee Herman.
I don't think
That's a
Brian
joke.
really.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't think Brian Robertson is actually that good. I just don't
No,
trust
he's
the coaching.
terrible.
I don't trust the coaching staff there, and it's a lot of BS from them. And if they're not going to give him the work, and it's a bad team, then there's no interest. I've got no interest in a timeshare.
But James Conner will not be playing.
there's no timeshare.
Oh,
in
no,
Arizona.
James Conner is coming up in Javonte Williams.
How do you know he's not going to be playing? He missed what, 1 game that year that Le'Veon Bell didn't play. He's
It's
been
because they're going to have the first pick, and James Conner, why the fuck they're trotting out a dinosaur? This isn't Jurassic Park.
Every year we hear about how long are they going to keep trotting these guys out there, and every year they keep doing it because these coaches are playing for their jobs. They're playing to win.
Kingsbury's
they're not thinking
there,
about.
right?
No, he went back to college
Good.
with his tail between his
Good.
legs.
With
Yeah.
sunglasses?
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on to wide receivers here, but appreciate you. Maybe tune in for once. We don't have any views in our videos because you guys are fucking assholes. But
But we love you.
I do love you. I do love you.
That's a
I love,
marketing
I love
strategy.
these guys. And no one's, if anyone's still watching now, you're a hardcore fucking fan, and
Yep.
they know what I'm doing here.
Yep.
Because they appreciate me, they appreciate us.
The work,
what
the
we're
effort.
doing here, fucking fantasy football, good times, Pee Wee Herman, John Wilkes Booth, all those things. Rob's Roundtable.
And it's been a complete joy.
Let's see what else I bought. Milk, lemonade, from the corner fudge is made.